Welcome back to the second segment of the Pinecrest Business Association at Community News. I'm your host, Vanessa, president of the PBA. So in this segment, we're exploring the intersection of modern innovation, healthcare, and essential human care. And we have two of our amazing members, Luis Mejer with 24/7 Nursing Care, a leader in compassionate home care services, and Julio from ASMBLR, an expert in marketing with AI. So Julio, I'm going to start with you because AI is like a hot topic right now. Let's demystify AI. It's everywhere right now. It's headlining everywhere. People want to know about it. Many local businesses are still intimidated about using it or how to use it. What does ASMBLR do, and how can everyday small businesses integrate AI to save time?
Sure, that's a great question. Just to kind of divide that up a little bit. One, you're talking about AI internally in the business, which is predominantly automation. What we specialize is marketing with AI, and more specifically AI search. How businesses are being recommended when individuals are searching with Google AI, ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, or some of the other large language models. So in order to come up in some of these recommendations, what we're seeing a lot now is that the business has to really be able to communicate to both the human and to both the machine. And more specifically, they need to really start baking in what they're good at, why they should be trusted, where their reputation lies, and essentially why they're the right fit for that specific customer or consumer that's searching for a specific problem.
So is it true that now most people, instead of just going on Google and searching like who's the best builder in the area, they actually ask Claude or Gemini or one of these AIs?
That's correct. And as a matter of fact, as of 2 months ago now, actually Google went full all in, and now they've completely changed their whole search bar box. And as you can see now, the first thing that usually comes up is this dominant AI overview, right? So most people, they don't query keywords anymore. They'll do long prompts like you just explained, right? I'm looking for a home builder in Pinecrest, Florida, who has specialty with kitchens and large living areas and who's great at pulling permits in the area.
Right.
So hyper-specific prompts and details. And then also, what we're also finding across the board, because we like to look at things from what we call a CPOV, a customer's point of view. So we look at a lot of patterns of how customers are really interacting with these models. And what we're seeing a lot now is private considerations. So essentially, when there's a sensitive topic, like let's say an individual is looking for a lawyer, but more specifically in the divorce area, right? Versus going to Google searching for that lawyer because they think that there'll be public information and that information will come up somehow in either behavioral targeting with ads and so forth later on in their searches. They'll go to their AI and they'll ask about what are the consequences about my divorce? Will I be able to keep my children? And the questions go on until they go and they find somebody in that search within ChatGPT or Gemini that is recommended. And from there, that pattern, that customer or consumer jumps onto Google to validate the business. So it's not a one-size-fits-all customer journey anymore.
So how much do you think like you can trust this information? Like, do you have to go further, or do you think once it gives you a prompt and it tells you something, should you believe it right away?
I think individuals always take the next step and they do their own validation, right? And this is happening a lot also with social media because there's so much, quote unquote AI slop out there and individuals creating, generated images of themselves, and the video has gotten so good. Most of the questions that are popping up about businesses now are, is this person even real? Right? So they'll go the extra step to validate their selection and make sure, in fact, that they are a business that's credited, right? That's certified, that has all of the, backing of a reputation and has individual reviews and so forth. More of that human kind of intel, if you will.
Right. So what is the biggest myth that you find yourself busting all the time that people think?
That AI search is just SEO. Which is completely different. SEO was a channel all about performance, right? Ranking to be number one, be on the top of the blue links. It no longer works that way, right? There's no ranking in ChatGPT or in Google AI overviews. So this has become more of a brand channel and a communication channel.
Is it still important to do both?
I would say a strong foundation from years ago or up to now, having some sort of SEO built in to what you've already been working with, absolutely is going to strengthen your results. But moving forward, you have to understand that you're no longer creating content just for humans, which is what SEO is basically based on, right? These blog posts and so forth. You're creating content that's going to be read by machines and by agents first, and then surfaced up to the human.
So ASMBLR specifically does the AI, or do you also do some of the SEO?
We start with what we call the core intelligence engine, which is what we layer into the business first and understand through a series of about 15 to 18 key questions that extracts the knowledge from that business owner, their expertise, either from them or their team members, that will allow our application to go ahead and build that foundation for the business so that they, number one, start getting recommended, right, for what they are known for what they're differentiated for. And then from number two, once that's set, we don't stop at the recommendation layer. We take it so that we are able to take that context and that content and then build out from that. So we can then create a system where any customer comes into the business, that system already has enough context about that customer to serve it up to the team members, either by SMS, some type of digital form, or some type of website application, or even voice agents talking to an individual.
So,
and
no,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
yeah, no, and then to extend that into social media, because everybody always asks about
Right.
social media, we also build what we call content with intelligence. And that's essentially where we take any social media and we'll make sure that on the back end, right, underneath the hood, it has everything associated with it. All the metadatas, all the transcripts are correct, right? Because usually when you hand over content to one of these channels, it's just extrapolated on their end from their platform. But if we're able to influence as much as we can the model moving forward to surface up that content, it gives the business just another advantage.
Do you also handle the content for your clients?
Correct.
You also take care of the content?
Yes.
So for a business owner that's just starting to explore all this, that they still haven't implemented any of these tools, what would you say this is the first step? How can you start slowly for a business owner?
The first step is the foundation, is number one, getting on one of these models. Pick the model of your choice, Gemini, ChatGPT, or so forth. Go in incognito mode. Do not log in as yourself, because that model and your chats are already predisposed to what it knows about you, right? So go in kind of quote unquote blindly and ask about your business. Ask about yourself, right? There used to be a day where people say, have you Googled yourself?
Yes,
Right? Now,
absolutely.
now ask one of the models, what do you know about me? What do you know about my business? And see what it says. And from there, that's where you'll see the gap. Is it accurately representing you as an individual? Is it accurately representing your business?
So for people that don't know about incognito, does this mean that you search or you ask being logged out?
Correct. I'm sorry. In Google Chrome, you just drop down the menu. It'll say go in incognito mode.
Okay.
And it'll essentially lift up a new window where you're not logged into your Google account, right? You're not into Vanessa's Gmail. You're not under Vanessa's Google. You're just a Google user, not logged in. So then from there, you'll go chatgpt.com, and that'll bring up like you're a brand new user without any information on you.
So what do you do if it gives you, like, you find that you ask a question and it gives you totally wrong information about you?
That's where we start the process,
Okay.
right? And you contact us and we go through it together. And again, we fill in the gaps and try to start telling the story the correct way with the engine that we've built and exactly how you want to be represented and what your business wants to be known for.
Is it typically fast to see these changes?
21 days.
21 days. So for 21 days, you run the risk of somebody getting like wrong information about you. Because now everything is so fast. People want everything like now, right?
Sure. Well, that's the thing. And that's a great question, because back in the SEO days, it used to take 3 to 6 months.
Oh, that was
to
worse.
see a dent in any kind of traction, right? But now these models feed on freshness, right, of information. It's easier to see a lot of gains very quickly, a lot sooner.
Well, thank you for that. Luis, I know that you've been new to the e-commerce. You just implemented a website. You expanded it in such a big way for an online platform for medical supplies. What inspired this launch? And like, how does this make it essential for people to get, for local families to and caregivers?
Hey, Vanessa. Well, that's a great question. As far as being important for families and caregivers, it's an e-commerce site that has all the essentials that somebody would need to take care of their loved one and make sure that they're able to live safely in the home environment. The e-commerce site, which is medwellstore.com, started off really as a much smaller platform called 24/7 Senior Secure, where we were going to just do some wearables. And as we started researching it and gained access through various suppliers, we decided just to turn it into an e-commerce store and offer a lot more. And really the idea came because people call us all the time once we're inside somebody's home, especially if the kids live in another state or not close to their parents. They would call us for all types of services besides what we do. They would ask us if we knew of a company that could deliver disease-specific meals, if we knew a pharmacy that delivered meds because their parents are bedbound in the home and can't leave the home. And so for years, we were just recommending other businesses to all these clients that we have. And we decided, why don't we start trying to do it all ourselves and keep it all in-house? Because besides being a healthcare, home care company, we become eyes and ears for the family, especially if they don't live in the same city as their loved ones who we're caring for.
So aside from the e-commerce and the medical supplies, what else does your company offer in home services?
Okay, so we've come a long way. We've been in business approximately 15 years now in this company, and we started off as a private duty nursing company helping clients with what we term activities of daily living, ADLs, which is really a medical term for whatever needs to be done to have somebody help somebody live safely in the home environment. And so we would staff CNAs and home health aides. They're called HHAs and CNAs. A CNA is a certified nursing assistant that would help our clients with activities of daily living. Some examples are bathing, personal hygiene, meal preparation, medication management, all those types of stuff to make the client's life easier. We started expanding our services over the years, and then we ended up incorporating another company called 24/7 Home Health Care. So we started off with 24/7 nursing care, then incorporated 24/7 home health care, and we started offering physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy as well, besides the nurse's aides. So we wanted a more comprehensive approach to be able to help people with a full spectrum of services. And then most recently, January of this year, we closed on a Medicare certified home health agency that we bought from another company. And so now we're all working under the umbrella 24/7 home health services, where we could handle Medicare certified patients, go through insurance, also offering occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy through insurance, as well as our initial offering of nurses' aides to help with activities of daily living in the home. And then we incorporated medwellstore.com, where we're offering all types of supplies that this patient population, aging population, could use in the house. So I tell people now we handle everything from catastrophic injury care all the way to companionship and everything in between.
And I like that you touched the point about Medicare. Now that I guess I'm reaching this age where our parents are a little bit older, and we were talking about that some of us are in this stage. Before, you would never think about it. You would never think about it. Now I know there's options. Before I never even knew who to call. What would differentiate your company from the other companies?
I would always say the people. I come from a medical background. I ran and owned a respiratory service company for 23 years that I sold. And then I started this business with two partners. And it's the people that you employ and the level of compassion and the level of experience that they have. When I'm out marketing our business, to rehab facilities, doctors' offices, hospitals, I always tell them, two things. We're going to enter a patient's home with compassion, and we're going to give them exceptional care. And especially for people that have family members that live out of town, that peace of mind is invaluable.
And a lot of people want to know, is this something that is out of pocket? I know you mentioned Medicare, which this is going to be a big one for a lot of people. Do a lot of people qualify for this? Does it have to be out of pocket?
So it's a great question.
How does this work?
Many different ways. On the non-skilled side, which we call the 24/7 nursing care, where we're dealing with activities of daily living with a home health aide or a certified nursing assistant, we call that unskilled work. So in the unskilled work, it's cash, and we also accept long-term care insurance. I would say the mix changes all the time. Sometimes we're 60-40 paying out of pocket and 40% paying through a long-term care policy. I would say that the long-term care policies were very popular for people that worked in Fortune 500 companies. That was always a part of the benefit package that they would get for working in a Fortune 500 company. It's gotten very expensive, the long-term care insurance, over the last few years. I would say really over the last 6 to 7 years. So now we see a lot of what they call hybrid policies, which is a life insurance policy with a long-term care component built in. So before you pass, you could start tapping into your life insurance and utilize it for long-term care when you're ill, and whatever's left would go to your beneficiaries. So on that front, we take long-term care insurance as well as cash pay, and the cash pay is very affordable. It's not really out of reach for the common person. And then on the skilled side, which is the Medicare certified agency, we accept Medicare and some other insurances as well.
I know you've been a member of the PBA for a few years already. I mean, a long time already. How has being involved in the PBA or in the community helped your business?
Oh, the PBA is incredible. Meeting people in the community. Our business is a referral business, and you do business with people you can trust and people you know.
Absolutely.
So that's very important. And then, being involved in the PBA, I was on the board of the PBA for many years. It's just getting out and getting into the community, doing, I call it marketing 101, just getting out there, talking to people, letting them know what you do, and having them refer you to friends and family. And then obviously when you do a good job for people, they start referring you to their friends and family as well.
Have you gotten a lot of business from all these networking events?
Absolutely. We've done an amazing volume of business from all the different organizations that we're a part of. That's very important for any business, is to get onto the community and speak about your services.
Well, so you both have something in common, which is you're integrating AI to streamline operations. So what advice would you have for traditional service-based local businesses that are looking to get more into the modern AI tools and e-commerce? I mean, for both of you.
We're automating now. It's funny that we're here together because we hired an AI consultant. We did the traditional SEO.
You didn't know Julio before?
I didn't know Julio back at the time. But we did the traditional SEO, built our website, did traditional SEO and social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, the new AI platforms, as that we've been speaking about, the ChatGPT and the Claudes, they've been game changers. And
so you've seen a difference since you shifted from the SEO and the traditional to the AI. Have you seen?
Well, I'll give you a prime example. We fed our website through an AI platform and asked it to improve our website and to simplify our website, and we completely built a brand new website based on the information we got from the AI platform, and it seems to be working. It seems that we're getting more traffic through our website based on the information that we got through the AI, and our social media is completely automated. We don't create our own posts anymore. It's automated and it's put on a schedule. We approve them 2 weeks at a time. So we have 2 weeks of content, and then we don't have to worry about it till the next cycle.
And Julio, you're used to it, but were you completely mind blown by what it could do?
Absolutely. It's incredible. I think a good point, because there's so much fear of AI, is the term human in the loop. You always need to have a human in the loop. And I think even in the future, you're going to always have to have a human in the loop to make sure that your brand is being portrayed and displayed in the fashion that you expect.
So what would be your advice for businesses that want to kind of like streamline and take the leap?
Well, a couple of things. You just get so much more efficient. I know that word is used a lot, but once you're able to understand that you can really start treating these AI agents and start compartmentalizing them almost as specific departments, or even training them on the traits of what that type of an employee would have. If you are a small business, you can have your own, essentially chief employee officer, right? That's overseeing, any legal documentation that you have coming in, anything that having to do with supply chain, anything having to do with operations from that standpoint. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot more small businesses once they start getting over, and it's completely understandable, not so much the fear of the technology, but the learning of the technology. For a while, it's actually what I did. I had a social media agency for a very long time. And the reason I shifted was because in December 2022, I remember somebody sent me an email and said, you have to look at this. This is going to change everything. And I thought it was some type of, provocative email that was going to be about, God knows what. But I opened it and it was ChatGPT, right? And I just thought to myself, this is not crypto. This is going to change everything, right? So what I started doing is I started working with my enterprise clients and started doing a lot of consultation on where AI automation was going. The problem that happens is that's where the bottleneck comes into play, is that the adoption takes so much longer on the enterprise side, and rightfully so, right? Because you have large data sets and large data systems, and there's a lot of red tape. But when you are a small business, you can, move a lot leaner, a lot faster, and it doesn't take a lot of time to learn these tools, right? So I hope that answers your question. But what I will honestly say is start leaning into any tool, start small, and just give it, one task to automate and see where it takes you from there.
I think a lot of people, when they're starting and they're thinking about marketing, a lot of the cost it can get costly. Like, do you either spend a lot of money every month that you put into this? Do you think you have to spend a whole lot of money every month, or a little goes a long way when it comes to AI?
I think a little goes. That's a great way to sum it up. A little goes a long way when it comes to AI.
If you do it right, I guess.
Yeah, if you know how to really, for lack of better terminology, influence these systems, right, and know exactly how to work these channels where your customers and your eyeballs are coming from, you can really expand your reach, right? Somebody that may have been number 1, number 5, at the top of the list in Google, you can totally dominate them with just the right type of strategy and very little spend, right? So I would say that it does not require huge budgets these days.
I think that a lot of people, and me as a business owner, I don't think about marketing or spending money in this, except when I'm like a little bit slow. So I'm slow. I'm like, what do I do now? I need to bring in business. That's the moment when you're thinking about it. But then I second guess myself. I'm like, I should be doing this when I'm doing well, because I have, the budget right now to spend it. Do you think it should be like a year-round thing? Do you think there's a certain moment where you should and should not do it?
I think, again, doing a lot of organic content, making sure that it does have your expertise baked in, and consistency across the board. So you're giving these models and these search engines the same messaging about what your business does. And so it's not confusing to give that story in different formats. And should it be a year-long thing? Absolutely, because statistically, it shows that these models like freshness, right? So your citations, your news can only typically last about 2 months at the most, max. So the more that you start feeding more information, anything new about your business and so forth, it's going to help you extend that reach.
I see. Luis, is there anything you want to tell us about your business? Anything you want to add?
No, I think you had a great point. when the phone starts slowing down, ringing, you start questioning everything you're doing. Do I got to go to more community events? I've always found, the old adage, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I think when you're just out there, your things happen and then the phone starts ringing and you could get a little complacent and then it starts slowing down, but it's that cycle. I think us as entrepreneurs, we're all a little bit crazy. So we're always very reactive to what's happening in our business, probably overly reactive to things. But I think, just work hard, and stay in front of the curb, like adopt all this AI stuff that we're speaking about. I think is very important to embrace it, or you're going to get left behind. But always know that there's always going to have to be a human in the loop, and.
Well, that's a good thing because we don't want to be totally replaced, right?
Yeah. No, I think to add to Luis's point, which was great, is that we're living in a time right now where you have to find every competitive advantage as possible as a business, right? And taking your foot off the gas, even when you are doing well. There's somebody right behind you these days, who's, willing to eat your lunch. So I think that was kind of a Jeff Bezos ism. So it's very important to always be, like you said, being out in the community, doing the things that you're doing and so forth, and find any angle as possible.
Go ahead. And Julio, do you only work with the AI, or people can also ask you to help with the SEO, the traditional marketing, or are you just focused right now on these AI?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I come from the quote unquote traditional marketing background, working with some of the biggest brands globally in the world. So, what's unique about that aspect is that all of the individuals that I work with have that brand global expertise that we're able to bring locally now. And we're able to feed these machines all of our expertise and pass that knowledge on to local businesses, right? So imagine, everybody loves a good David and Goliath story, right? So when you have a local business now that is able to operate and is also able to market at the same way a giant does, you can create a huge competitive advantage in your own market.
Yeah, and you're within reach. Like, we can call you, we can see you,
Sure,
we can, you're always accessible, right? As I'm sure you are for your clients as well. What would you say you're most proud of, like, that you've accomplished in your business this year? Or it doesn't have to be this year, just in general. Like, what could you say, like, I'm super proud that I did this, or that I can do this, or that I can offer this?
I can tell you, I'm proud that I became a builder. I'm actually, coding, and they don't even call it coding anymore, but I'm actually building a lot of the tools that we use in the business. So I used to have a developer handle all of that.
Did you learn this just by going, or did you take a course?
I became fascinated with it, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and so forth, just keeping at it and just seeing how far you can push these machines these days. It's incredible some of the things that you can create. You can create your own personalized software, right? Your own, anything catered to exactly how you work. And the systems just continue to get so strong, so well. I was literally, taken back, and I've seen a lot, and I work with some of the smartest people out there. But I think what was most compelling was last week, Codex from OpenAI, right? Codex is kind of ChatGPT's coding model. They now have ChatGPT advanced voice in there. And this thing has gotten so fluid and so natural that within Codex now, you're literally able to tell it, go build me XYZ, and it will go and do it for you. So there's been this ongoing chatter across the web that we have reached what they call Jarvis. Jarvis was the character in Iron Man, right? Where Tony Stark, right? Robert Downey Jr. comes in and says, "Daddy's home, let's get to work." And he's talking to it, and it works like that now.
Wow.
We are at that point pretty much.
So really quick, which is your favorite of all?
I have been fluctuating from Claude to ChatGPT. But lately, and these models go back and forth with each other. Once you find one model that is good at a specific something for you,
So you should try more than one and see
absolutely,
which one. Okay.
absolutely,
Okay. And always the paid version.
yes,
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 definitely.
yeah. I mean, you want to be paying for intelligence, right?
Mhm.
If you're paying $20 a month for Netflix, wouldn't you want to pay
Yeah.
$20
When you put it that way, absolutely.
to make you smarter, right?
And Luis, what has been like your biggest accomplishment, or what are you super proud of, like that you offer?
Well, I'm proud really of the fact that I'm in a business where I make a difference in people's lives. We have testimonials and stories of families that we've helped along the way for so many years, and it's a business that you get a lot of personal satisfaction of helping somebody in need. So it's a business that gives you a lot of self-fulfillment because you're actually helping people. And to give Julio a small plug here, he's the most important guy in the building now because you need a guy like this in your business to move forward these days. It's of the utmost importance. So. But I would say the thing I'm most proud of is that I'm in a business that we're able to give a lot of compassion and love to our clients, and a satisfied customer, there's nothing like it.
So just to wrap it up, what has been an advantage or like a benefit of being in one of the members of the PBA? I know we touched on it a little bit, but anything that you want to mention, or what do you hope to like expect? What do you hope to expect? What do you expect from the PBA? Like, what are you hoping that it's gonna like give you?
I think Luis made a great point about, obviously he's been involved a lot longer than I have, and I'm relatively new here, freshly new.
Freshly new, yeah.
But I can see the general camaraderie, right? And I can see what your efforts are already doing, in the short time that you've been president, and trying to, make this a unique place where individuals have a voice, right, in the community. And I think the other individual that was here from the last podcast that kind of we spoke off camera was talking about how you've made it very comfortable and conversational and not stiff, right? And I think that's very important when you start getting into these quote unquote networking events, right? Where you make the atmosphere as inviting as possible, able to exchange ideas with other individuals, right, of like-minded, goals and vision. And I think if you can continue to propel that type of voice locally, and really, carve out a pocket in this city, right? Because I think lately, and I'm sure you all can attest to this, right? You've seen plenty of the news. Pinecrest is the hot market, right? Because you've got all these individuals coming from, New York and so forth, and I'm sure you're very well of all the new home buyers that are coming into this area, and a lot of individuals are coming from tech backgrounds, right? So being able to take that kind of momentum and step into this modernization of Miami, I think for me is something very compelling.
Thank you. And you have a lot of clients in Pinecrest, and you do a lot of work in Pinecrest.
Absolutely. So I think like everything you get out of it, what you put into it, I would tell people, don't expect to join and receive all these benefits without working it and being involved in it. And I know you guys have events after hours and besides the lunches. And I think the more events you get involved in, the more opportunity you get. So it's like everything in life, you get out, the more you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah,
so
you've been here the longest.
Yeah,
so.
It's a two-way street, get involved. Your job as the director now at the PBA, I know is very difficult because you need, people's involvement. And when there's a lot of involvement is when these organizations are their strongest.
Yeah, and as Mitch, I won't forget, Mitch Panther said, people are not going to give you their business right away. It takes time, it takes trust, and eventually it'll happen, it'll come. But thank you both for joining. Thank you for being members. I appreciate it a lot. Aside from finding you in the Pinecrest Business Directory, we can find you on your websites, Instagram. I'm sure you both are very well connected, and we'll put the links.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.